Hello, Sylvia here, nutrition and fasting coach. So today was day one of the 21-day spring metabolic jumpstart challenge. And I'll tell you, these women, they are motivated, they are ready to go, and they're coming with these great questions. And a couple of the questions are something I hear a lot. So I figured, why not just come in here and talk about this and dive a little deeper? Because I feel it's important so that you guys, when you're fasting, you know what to do for the goals that you have. So the big question, can I put creamer in my coffee when I'm fasting? What about my powdered matcha or sencha? And how about chia seeds? So I love these questions because they show that you're paying attention, and you know, the answer is not black and white. Oops, something. I get these alerts and I don't want any distractions right now. I'm talking on my Facebook group here. Okay, so the answer is not black and white, and it depends on your goals. So I'm going to break this down for you. So first of all, I'm going to give a little context before, so everything makes sense. When you're talking about fasting, we're really talking about two things happening in your body, and which one you're after determines what you can and can't have. So first goal, metabolic benefits: fat burning, insulin sensitivity, blood sugar balance, weight loss. For this, we care more about calories and insulin response. The second goal is autophagy. Autophagy is cellular repair. This is your body's self-cleaning mode, recycling function. This is stricter. Even small amounts of protein or carbs can pause the autophagy process. Most of you in the challenge are focused on goal number one, the metabolic part of this. So I'll speak to that first, and then I'll tell you the more stricter rules if you want to look to go deeper for the more healing part of fasting. So coffee with creamer, like we all like a coffee, right? Coffee or tea, we want our caffeine in the morning or in the afternoon. The question, can you have creamer with it? And this is the big one. So let's talk about this. Plain black coffee, you get thumbs up, green light, because black coffee, it's 0 calories, it doesn't spike insulin, and it actually has some mild metabolic benefits. It can support fat burning and even has shown to have autophagy promoting properties. So black coffee is actually your best friend when it comes to fasting. So in your fasting window, thumbs up on the black coffee. This is also the same for tea. You can, the same thing with black tea, green tea, all good. So let's talk about the creamer, because I know a lot of people can't really stomach the black coffee on its own. So this gets a little more nuanced here. Not all creamers are created equally. So I'm going to start with the ones that are less likely to break your fast. Unsweetened almond milk or oat milk. I'll be a little careful with oat milk though. And a small splash, like 1 to 2 tablespoons. Less likely. Watch the oat milk. Oat milk can have a lot of carbohydrates in it, which actually will turn to sugar. So that can spike your blood sugar and take you out of a fasted state. To really know what takes you out of a fasted state is to check your blood sugar. There are those finger pricking devices, or we now have these glucose monitors that you can wear, which is something I also use with my clients in the Metabolic Reset, my 12-week program, where we have access to continuous glucose monitors. We see exactly what's happening as you're eating, as you're drinking, as you're doing activity. And then you can really break down and see what exactly is breaking your fast. So that's what you can do to really get into the details of these creamers as well, to see which ones are affecting your blood sugar. So you want to see a very minimal variation in your blood sugar as you are drinking these, because when we're drinking calories, it affects our blood sugar much more than if we were eating something with the same amount of calories too, because the process of digesting is so much quicker. So you're gonna get a bigger glucose spike. So watch these creamers, but sometimes there's certain kinds that you can be okay with. I actually found a walnut milk that I think tastes very good and only has 2 ingredients, walnuts and water, and I think it's like to the cup it has 3 grams of carbs, so very minimal carbs. A small splash of that does not take me out of a fasted state. So that's my option that I use on my, let's say, more daily fasts. When I go on a longer fast, if I do a 36-hour or more, then I feel, this is my personal opinion, my personal preference, but when I want to go through a 36 or longer fast, I want all the benefits. I don't want to leave out autophagy benefits because I want to have creamer in my coffee. I do still have my coffee because otherwise I will get headaches because I love my coffee in the morning, but I avoid the creamer on those longer fasts just to get those autophagy benefits as well. So that is something you can play with. MCT oil, coconut oil, some people use butter in their coffee. So there's no protein or sugar and you're just adding fats, which is actually, it actually can support a ketone production. So it can aid with that process. Heavy cream, a small amount, also very low in carbs and proteins, high in fat, same thing. It can aid your ketone production. So those are maybe okay. More likely to break your fast, it's the flavored ones. French vanilla, hazelnut, all the ones that has sugar, additives, any kind of sweeteners, even 0-calorie sweeteners can spike your blood sugar. Half and half in larger amounts, the proteins and sugar adds up. So it's not just the sugars, protein as well will up your glucose. So I would say any creamer with over 1 or 2 grams of sugar or 20 plus calories will take you out of a fasted state. Sweet and low, Splenda, other artificial sweeteners, those can trigger an insulin response in many women. So I would stay away from all the sweeteners. So my honest take for the challenge is that if your goal is a metabolic reset, blood sugar balance, weight loss, hormonal reset, a small splash of unsweetened creamer is unlikely to derail your results. So you can make your choice depending on what your goals are and how it works for you. But flavored sweetened creamer, that's going to that's going to stimulate insulin, and it's going to keep you out of a fat burning state. So you want to avoid those. My recommendation, try to get to plain coffee over the next 21 days if you can. Your taste buds will adapt to it. It does happen. So there are many people that has gone from having a dessert tasting coffee and transferred completely over to black coffee and they're fine. So that said, moving on to what about the powdered teas? Like we have the matcha powder, sencha, those herbal powder mixes. And another one is to add chia seeds to those to help prolong the fast. So there's a couple of things going on here. So like a matcha powder, a plain matcha powder in water is generally fine during a fast, but It's similar to green tea, but it has low calorie. It can support metabolism and focus. And if it's unsweetened, usually good. I mean, there's no research on this, so we don't know for sure. But since there's no calories, it's hard to say if you're not going to see an insulin spike more than likely, but how it affects autophagy, that we don't know at this point. So the important thing is that many of the powdered tea blends, they, especially the pretty ones that are marketed towards women, they have added sugar in one way or another. It's either sugar, honey, agave, stevia blends, or whatever it is. So flip that packet over, read the label. If there's carbs, sugar, or protein listed, it's going to break your fast. What about the chia seeds? So chia seeds I have to be straight here, because chia seeds contain both fiber, protein, and fat. So technically they're a food. A small amount, like a teaspoon, is probably not a huge metabolic disruptor for most women, but technically they're going to contain calories, macronutrients that signal your digestive system to wake up. So if your goal is a metabolic reset, blood sugar balance, a teaspoon of chia seeds in unsweetened tea is probably fine. So watch how you feel, monitor if you have a glucose monitor available. But if you go for deeper autophagy or stricter fasting, skip the chia seeds. You save them for your eating window. They're great. They're a great source of fiber, great for gut health. So they're very filling. So they will help you control your blood sugar. And, you know, it can, if you add them to your first meal, when you break your fast, it can help slow down glucose absorption. So that's that. The bigger point, fasting is not about being perfect. It's about building a consistent habit that moves the needle over time, right? So if your alternative to chia seeds in your tea is skipping fasting altogether, then keep the chia seeds and keep fasting. Progress over perfection, always. So whatever works for you, there's no strict rules. There's no, you can't do this or you can't do that. If it works for you, then do it. So rule of thumb, I know this is a lot of information, but I'm gonna have a little cheat sheet here. So a little handout that I'm gonna get. So if you want it, drop cheat sheet in the comments and I'll send it to you. So your fasting window, cheat sheet, water, thumbs up, black coffee, plain tea, always, yes. Plain electrolytes with no sugar, yes. Unsweetened sparkling water, yes. And then we have the maybes, small splash of unsweetened creamer, probably fine for metabolic goals. Teaspoon of chia seeds, small amount, okay for metabolic goals, skip for autophagy. And then to the absolutely no, anything sweetened breaks insulin. Anything with protein or significant calories breaks the fast. All right, any questions? I would love to hear it. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what your personal fasting, what is your hardest thing about fasting? Let's hear it. All right, so we are just starting the 21-day spring metabolic jumpstart, first day today. So these are the questions that came up. I wanted to make a video on these questions to dive a little bit deeper than I did in the Zoom today. So if you want a little cheat sheet, drop it in the comments and I will get it to you ASAP. Until next time, I will see you guys later.